Year of the Villain, Lex Luthor issue 1 heads to Earth 38 of the past, where Superboy arrives at a science fair, going through the fair and talking with a reporter about the bright-minded students, and perhaps the next president or even great inventor is there amongst them. Elsewhere at the Luthor home, Lex's drunken father tells him about how people will seek to reduce him and his greatness, but he wants to remind Alexander of the greatness and their path. Suddenly, Lionel collapses as the Prime Universe Lex appears. The young Lex knows this man is like him, but Apex Lex reveals his true form, saying he isn't like him anymore, and many claim that the great name of Luthor is theirs across the multiverse, and some are brilliant or dangerous. And maybe this young Lex thinks he's one of the brilliant ones. Apex Lex shows Lex that there is a multiverse. At least for now, that is until Perpetua will send it to Doom. While that happens, Lex says that he's traveling time and space, stamping out people who are the greatest threats to him, people with the name Luthor. Lionel tries to convince Apex Lex he can help him, but the child is useless. But Apex Lex kills him, asking young Lex what he will offer to live. The young boy doesn't know, but asks what will living cost him. On Earth 45, the Earth's Batman talks about how Overcorp made Super Doom, the Superman living brand, which was a franchise killer, spreading into the homes and all over the world, but soon it fell, and Lex and Wayne Corp went to war over the scraps, leaving LexCorp victorious, and Super Doom was relaunched, leading to the end of the world. Lex arrives on the Earth, knowing the whole world was sacrificed to the Phantom Zone. Lex talks with the Luthor of that world, saying that rather fashioning a kingdom from the world, he crushed it. The Lex appears to be a creature that says Apex Lex was granted this audience because he is a Luthor, and knows he has come to kill him to prove that he's the superior Luthor, but Doom Thor welcomes his efforts. Apex doesn't see him as a Luthor, but a monster, and he's there to give him something that he lacks the most, vision. On Earth 32, the descendant of the Martian and Kryptonians says the Rao headband he wears was a gift from Lex, and while he thinks the symbol on it might represent vulnerability or strength, the gesture in giving it meant a great deal to him, and Lex means a great deal to him. Elsewhere, Lex awakens from his deep sleep interface in his Batcave, met by his faithful super butler Fred. Lex complains about the headaches he's been getting, but he dismisses them as he asks for some privacy, telling Apex Lex and the young Lex to come out of hiding. Lex knows these people are him from the multiverse and guesses Apex Lex is there to kill him, so he attacks him. As they fight, Lex contacts his partner Cal, who appears on screen and says that something hit the city like a bomb, and the signal watch was the only way he could contact Lex. Lex soon learns that the Apex Lex has brought Doom Thor to the Earth and unleashed it on the Martian Superman city. Lex demands to know why Apex did this, learning that the villain wanted him to see how weak he has become in Superman's shadow. He tells him not to be a fool, and if he wastes his moment fighting him, Superman will die, and there is no other path, there is only Luthor. Lex refuses to go for Superman, saying that's what Apex Lex wants. Instead, he calls in a giant mech bat suit, telling Apex Lex he's going to call his bluff. Apex Lex says that he's a fool, and he still thinks he can win, and he implores Lex to go save his Superman since he's seen what he needs, and Lex's doom is assured. On Earth 1 in the future, the old Clark Kent sits looking over a dead Black Mercy, saying there is no excuse for what Superman did, and before we condemn him, context is needed. He explains what the Black Mercy is and how Luthor used it on Superman, making him dream of a life on Krypton with a family and purpose. And when Lex awoke him, 8 billion people died. Apex Lex visits the dying Lex, asking how he could permit himself to be made so small, all so he could take down Superman. Apex becomes angered at his counterpart, demanding to know why Lex could let something so meager sate his Luthor curiosity and ambition. Stopping for a moment, Apex Lex thanks his counterpart before leaving. Heading to Earth 50, the young Lex takes everything in he has seen, saying he always knew he was meant for something more, except this is far more than he thought. He asks Apex why they are talking with their counterparts if they want them dead, and why not just kill them while they are babies? And what do they gain by all of what they are doing? Apex says that there is no we, there is only Luthor, as they teleport to Earth 44, meeting a Lex who is a shoemaker. He knows who they are and says this happened because he, instead of going to medical school took up the Thurman, and the choices had consequences. Young Lex hides his eyes as he kills his counterpart before moving on to Earth 13, where the magician Luthor is killed by Apex Lex. He then heads over to Earth 47 in the past, meeting with a Lex who is making tea out of a chopped up black mercy, thanks to building up a tolerance to it over the years. He takes Apex and the young Lex through his paradise garden, and they learn that his specialization is botany, and he's used those skills to ease humankind's pain and renew health in them. Apex saves young Lex from being eaten by a plant, wanting the bearded Lex to get to the point of his story. The bearded Lex says that he did spend some time selfishly like all Lexes do, but he's beyond that now and reveals that he uses the tea of the Black Mercy leaves to have visions of realities where he is a hero and is given countless second chances. He wishes he could say that he used all those chances well, but he did not. He tells Apex that it's no surprise the young Lex is impressed by him, since all he was able to be a master of is fooling himself. The Lex says that he has seen Superman in his visions and just how Lex feels about him. He asks the young Lex how they can imagine such a difference between man and Superman, and how do they even guess at the costs of his gifts. He says Superman always considered the actions and feelings of the people, but Lex wanted the people to think he alone was willing to pay the price for greatness. But really all he wants is something to make him unique and the one and only Lex Luthor. Suddenly the young Lex kills the bearded Lex with his device, telling Apex Lex that he was wrong and they all were, since there is no other path, there is only Luthor. Apex is proud of himself, heading into the sky as back in reality, Lex cuts his connection to the Black Mercy infected young Lex, returning him to stasis where he will be used as a human backup for Apex Lex should he need it. Year of the Villain Lex Luthor issue 1 was an absolutely amazing one-shot that is kind of required reading for the Justice Doom War story, as it will explain how Lex will no doubtedly turn back to human form after the event is over. I really enjoyed exploring all of these Earths and different realities and all these different Lex Luthors and how intrinsically tied to Superman he is. I also love the twist that Lex wasn't going from Earth to Earth killing off his competitors or people worthy of the Luthor name, but testing his younger self to see if he could become the perfect Luthor and kind of maybe a perfect host eventually for his mind, or perfect second Lex after whatever happens to Apex Lex. It was fantastic to see him as kind of the devil on his shoulder type thing, trying to convince his younger self to go down that dark path. I loved everything Jason Latour did with this book, and Brian Hitch's fun art made it even more enjoyable, if that was even possible. I'm going to give this issue a 9.5 out of 10.